Kanhapa, also known as Krishnacharya, was born in the town of Somapuri, the son of a scribe. He later ordained at the great monastic university in Somapuri, built by King Mahapala, and received the empowerment of Hevajra from his guru, Garandhara. He practiced the Hevajra sadhana for 12 years and had a vision of the deity and his retinue, causing the earth to shake. This extraordinary experience inflated his pride. A ḍākinī appeared to warn him that such visions were merely auspicious signs along the path, not the realization of ultimate truth. Kanhapa continued his intense practice. One day, to test himself, he stepped on a rock and left a footprint. Another ḍākinī appeared and urged him to return to proper meditation. Later, after arising from samadhi, he found himself levitating a foot off the ground. Again, the ḍākinī warned him not to grow arrogant and to keep practicing. Eventually, he was able to hover in the sky, crowned with 7 parasols and surrounded by 7 self-resounding human skin drums. He said to his disciples, "I have achieved realization. Let us go to Lankapuri, that wild island, and tame its people." With 3,000 disciples, he set out for Sri Lanka. At the seashore, he sought to impress both disciples and locals by walking across the water alone. In his heart, he thought, "Even my guru wasn't this powerful." At that moment of pride, he fell into the ocean. The waves washed him ashore, and he saw his guru, Garandhara, appear in the sky. The guru asked, "Kanhapa, where are you going? What happened?" Kanhapa replied humbly, "I was going to save the people of Lanka from samsara, but I had the thought that I was more powerful than you, and I lost my powers and fell into the sea." Garandhara said, "That mission is pointless. Go instead to my homeland, Bataliputra. There, under the rule of a kind king, you will find a weaver who is my disciple. Obey his instructions completely, and you will attain final realization." Following the guru's advice, Kanhapa journeyed to Bataliputra. His lost powers returned. Again, he could walk on water, leave footprints in stone, and be surrounded by parasols and drums. Upon reaching the city, he left his disciples outside and entered to find the weaver. Passing many shops, he noticed that when the threads broke, the weavers manually reconnected them. These were not the guru he sought. At the city's edge, he found a weaver whose threads rejoined on their own. He knew this was the master. Kanhapa bowed, circled him, and requested teachings on ultimate truth. The weaver asked, "Will you do everything I say?" "I will," Kanhapa replied. Together they went to a charnel ground and found a fresh carcass. "Can you eat this carcass?" asked the weaver. Kanhapa knelt, took out a knife, and prepared to cut a piece. "No," the weaver snapped. "Like this." He transformed into a wild wolf and devoured the carcass ravenously. Returning to human form, he said, "Only when you can transform like that can you eat the carcass." He then pulled out a pile of feces, divided it into 3 parts, and told Kanhapa, "Eat this." Kanhapa protested, "People will mock me if I eat excrement." The weaver ate 1 part, a deity took another, and a naga carried off the 3rd. Back in the city, the weaver bought food and wine with 5 coins. "Now," he said, "call your disciples. We will hold a feast offering." Kanhapa did so, but thought, "This tiny amount can't feed everyone." As the disciples gathered, the weaver blessed the offerings. The bowls overflowed with rice, sweets, and meats. The feast lasted 7 days without the food ever running out. Eventually, Kanhapa grew weary and said, "This is endless." He offered the rest to hungry ghosts and prepared to leave. The weaver shouted after them, "Oh, you poor children, you are destroying yourselves. You are yogins who separate prajna, wisdom of emptiness, from lively compassion. What can you gain by fleeing? Drums and parasols are minor siddhis. You must contemplate and realize the nature of reality." Ignoring him, Kanhapa led his disciples onto Bahukora, 450 miles east of Somapuri. Outside the city, he saw a girl beneath a lychee tree and asked her for some fruit. "No," she replied. Unfazed, the yogin stared intently at the fruit, and they fell. The girl stared just as powerfully, and the fruit flew back up into the tree. Kanhapa was filled with anger. He collapsed, vomiting and bleeding near death. Kanhapa had only 7 days left before passing into the ḍākinīs paradise. He used them to teach his disciples the sadhana of Vajrayogini. Among the stories of the 84 Mahasiddhas, Kanhapa's is uniquely cautionary. Others like Horasapa, Kalangi, and Kakappada are portrayed with subtle imperfections. But Kanhapa, though revered as a Hevajra practitioner and yogin, is depicted with pointed criticism, arrogant, impulsive, full of anger and pride. The weaver's critique was that Kanhapa failed to fully integrate prajna and upaya, wisdom and skillful means. He may have cultivated emptiness in calm meditation, but when faced with disturbing emotions or ego, he could not dissolve them into emptiness. His anger at the girl beneath the lychee tree revealed his clinging to ego and form, and his failure to maintain inner equanimity. Wisdom and skillful means are like the wings of a bird. Lacking either, it cannot fly. If he had recognized his arrogant thoughts as empty, he wouldn't have fallen into the sea. If he had perceived the feast's pleasures as empty, he would have experienced infinite appetite. If he had no sense of self, he could have transformed into a wolf and eaten the corpse. Kanhapa represents a yogin capable of deep meditation and philosophical realization, but unable to embody this in real-life action due to lingering ego clinging. Only true siddhis can continually realize ultimate reality and live with wisdom and compassion in seamless union.